Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Talk Conversation Series, a peer knowledge resource by the CXOs for the CXOs. Now to our host, Kanika Goswami.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast On Stage with Enterprise Thought Leaders. Today, we have as our guest the CMO of People.ai, Mariana Cogan. Hi, Mariana. It's great to have you on our platform. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing well. A pleasure to be joining you. Very excited to be talking with everybody today.
Oh, we are excited as well. So I will introduce Mariana in a few short words. In her earlier role as a Senior Vice President Marketing at PTC, she was focused on delivering digital transformation from vision to execution. Her expertise in her profession is demonstrated by the accolades that she has collected, one of them being Forrester's Program of the Year award winner for leveraging artificial intelligence SmartTech to create $20 million worth of demand generation in the first pilot that she headed at PTC. Great job, no, Mariana. I'm so glad we're mentioning this here. We should talk a little bit about this as well. She's a Mexico-born person, and she's held various roles of increasing responsibility in the software industry. A huge advocate for diversity, inclusion, and uplifting minorities in the tech space. Mariana firmly believes that diverse companies are more innovative, and I completely agree with her there. And they outperform less diverse ones. She's earned a Master of Business Administration from Babson College and a bachelor's degree from Jochi University in Tokyo, Japan. Great to have you here, Mariana. One list of great things that you've done. Very proud. A little bit about People.ai. It's a California-based revenue intelligence platform that offers solutions such as data analytics, contact filtering, and lead conversions for businesses. Would you want to add something to that, Mariana, about People.ai?
Yes, absolutely. And before that, let me just mention that, as you say, I joined People.ai in January this year, but I actually bought from them in 2019. So I know the technology quite well. And basically what People.ai does is that it really helps companies to create that playbook so that you can close more deals and faster because you have the intelligence that allows you to really to optimize that people engagement. Because at the end of the day, even in technology, as you know quite well, we don't really buy or sell into buildings. It's really into humans. And People.ai allows to leverage, artificial intelligence to really understand that engagement so that you can really, truly optimize your GTM strategy.
All right, that's good to know. So, what steps would you recommend for CMOs to shorten the sales life cycle without disrupting the customer experience that they are providing?
So I tend to believe that it's 3 steps. I really believe in the rule of 3. So everything is a little bit more, a little bit easier. Number 1, you really have to have a very strong alignment in your account strategy with sales. The more that marketing is concentrated on those accounts that are really important, the more that you're going to be able to have an influence. So if you are in full alignment in your account strategy with sales, so that you can prioritize. I'm a big believer on intent technology, so let's really go for those high intent accounts because the accounts are much more prime to be connecting. Number 2, for marketing, really, really understand your personas. Again, this is one of the beauties of technology like People.ai. Really know who is it that is part of your buyer group so that marketing can really address those personas. You want to make sure that you're really delivering your part by connecting so that every person in that buyer group, when it comes to a decision, all of them should be familiar with your technology, with your product. So they're big supporters. And number 3, what I truly recommend for for the CMOs is to really have that weekly alignment with sales, whether it's a pod, sales and marketing alignment call, where again, you go through, are you going after the right accounts? Are you connecting, with the right personas? Are you really moving things? Are you really increasing that engagement so that nothing is left on the table? If you follow those 3 steps, you are going to be able to shorten your sales cycle. Absolutely.
Right. And with the complexity of data that is only increasing every passing minute, every passing day, how can organizations extract better insights to refine their revenue intelligence for the teams to work on?
Absolutely. Volumes of data are not a problem anymore. It's really getting into that actionable insights. That is what you need in order to really deliver a customer-centric engagement. Data tells you everything that is going on, but then you really need to have that layer of artificial intelligence that allow you to understand engagement, especially in the B2B space, in complex transactions, you're going to have many different personas involved. So you want to make sure that you're extracting actionable insights that allow you to really define what is that ideal engagement, who is that ideal persona, what is that ideal sales playbook. And you need to be able to know all these in real time so that you can influence, in quarter deals. And as you, ask very correctly, everything has to be done in a way that is customer centric. It's all about delivering the right content to the right person at the right time. And that is because you're really being customer centric. Delivering on engagement, it's not about thinking about how you're going to close a deal. It's really how do you deliver that value? How do you humanize a brand? And that's how you're going to be able to leverage your data to get actionable insights that the whole GTM, the three teams, whether it's, marketing, sales, customer success, can really deliver.
Okay, and how do you think organizations drive the go-to-market strategy while also aligning sales and marketing outcomes? And how does the revenue operations solution from People.ai help them to achieve this?
It's very interesting that for some reason, sometimes we tend to think that marketing and sales alignment is different than a GTM alignment, is different than being customer centric, is different than increasing, revenue. When in reality, all those components need to be working together so that you can really deliver results. What People AI allows you to do is, in a sense, three components. Number one, you're going to be able to bring all the activity data, especially after pandemic, that more and more of the engagement, it's now being digital. People AI allows you to see all that data, all the different activities that happen. Then you're going to be able to, we help you to apply artificial intelligence to really understand how does that ideal engagement look like, how many emails you need to be sending out, how many, meetings do you need to be having, who are the personas that you need to be engaged with. You need to be multi-thread. You cannot just be talking to one person, in a company and think that that deal is going to close. By having all that intelligence in actionable insights, People AI allows you to be able to see, on real time, do you have that ideal engagement that is going to take you to close as many deals as possible in the quarter? Some of the areas that it allows you to be able to see is, again, are you multi-thread? Do you have already set up the next meeting? So that way, all your more junior, sales reps can actually be learning from what is it that ideal playbook looks like, even in a world that, as as we all well know, by now, customers only want to be spending about 17% of their buyer's journey really talking with a vendor. So you need to really be able to make sure that you can maximize the rest of the time, and that 17%, it's really done in an ideal way. And People AI allows you to exactly know what is it that you need to do in what order in order to close more deals, in order to close bigger deals, in order to close deals faster. That's what People AI does.
Yeah, and then it allows to shorten the GTM cycles with all of these insights in it, right?
Exactly, because imagine that this is having that playbook. If anything that we do in our lives, if we're just trying to guess, yeah, you're gonna get to potentially some good, some results. But every time you're gonna be trying to outsmart what is it that you were thinking, it's not going to be predictable. And at the end of the day, what allows you to be able to see is that predictability of knowing what is it that you should be doing so that many more people can do it. And of course, what it really means is that you're shortening your sales cycle because you know what is the next step. One of the examples that I always talk about is that when, for certain deals, if you need to have, let's say, 7 different personas that need to come to the table and say yes to the purchase, if you are missing out one or two, and maybe those ones are really important ones, what it's going to mean is that most probably it's going to be sent to the next quarter. In many companies, let's say, we sell technology into some certain parts of the organization. And sometimes if we don't prioritize, let's say, IT, because, the technology is not really for IT, but if IT has a voice and you're bringing them too late, they're not going to be part of the decision. They're going to feel left out. They're going to have to start their due diligence quite late into the quarter. So that deal is going to be pushed out to the next quarter, extending, which is the last thing that we want, especially in these turbulent times in the economy. But if you knew how you needed to engage every single persona, marketing would have created marketing material for IT, maybe an event for IT, so that this persona gets engaged before. Your sales manager is going to know that IT needs to be part of this decision, so it's going to put pressure on the sales side to really engage with the persona. Everybody will be part of the deal, and then you will be closing a deal much faster than if you had just left it to let's guess.
That's a very, very interesting insight. Yes, keeping as many people, as many decision makers on board from the beginning is extremely important for a sales to succeed. So along with data complexity, data hygiene has also emerged as a challenge. What steps do you recommend to improve the data hygiene of your CRM without having to chase down representatives week after week?
When we talk about data, we tend to talk, of course, primarily about the CRM system. And CRM systems are going to be messy. I always call the data challenge a collateral damage for success. Most probably your data, it's not going to be as tidy because, if you've been growing through acquisitions, that really means that you might have multiple, CRM systems. Even if you did an integration, maybe you're selling into, a large company and you're selling into multiple divisions. So the data being messy, I think, is by now a given, component in today's, business environment. That's what I tend to call it, collateral damage to success. So what I recommend companies is to really look into people, process, systems. People, you need to make sure that you have the right training so that some of these major decisions can be made and don't need to be chased, on daily basis. You have to have your processes, in place. Otherwise, again, as you mentioned, everybody's going to be chasing each other, and the systems need to be, in alignment as well. One of the things that People.ai does from a data hygiene perspective is that our system comes with one of the most sophisticated data enrichment platforms in the industry. It has something that is called People Graph that allows you to continuously, filter, enrich your data so that you can really be having it match at the right level. Because again, it's not only the data, but how do you do that matching that takes you to actionable insights. So I will always tell, everybody to go back to, the 3 principles of people, process, systems.
And now, Mariana, the topic which is closest to your heart. It's a fact that only 1% of tech workforce is females. What actions can companies take to support more participation from the from women in the workforce, especially for the technology area of the companies?
This is a great question, and I really appreciate that you touched the topic, since as you mentioned at the very beginning, it's something that is extremely close to my to my heart, not only because of my background, but because I really and truly believe that more diverse companies are more innovative and more innovative companies are more diverse. One of the secret weapons to the success that I have had in my career is because I was able to hire the best talent by providing a very inclusive work environment where everybody could be themselves. And I was able to really get different points of view at the table, talent that, might have been a mom with younger kids, but if you allow certain flexibility, of course, they can be part of the workforce. I always like highlighting that we need to have two components working together. Yes, it is number one, as everybody can imagine, really that hiring. How do you make sure as a company that you are offering an equal environment for different people to apply and be considered and eventually getting jobs, so that you can really start bringing more females, more minorities, into the workforce? And for that, I think it's really important. One of the things that I have seen working extremely well at the different places that I have worked is that something as simple as when you add, the list of requirements for a position, we know that in general terms, male will apply even if they can only do about maybe, 50, 60, 70% of the requirements. Females are going to want to be able to do 100% of the list, otherwise they will not apply. So I ask companies to maybe reduce the list of their requirements. And then it is through the interviewing process that, you can really identify the right talent. But then the other two components that are extremely important is, of course, mentorship. You have to, facilitate that all these minorities are really partner with somebody that is going to help them to grow, to navigate the politics, to navigate, the requirements of the role, which is extremely important. And then the area that I'm the most passionate about is sponsorship. And the way that I define sponsorship is as you have to have that person who's going to talk about you when you're not in the room. And by this, what I mean is that you have to have a program that allows, again, for that partnership, that sponsorship, so that females, minorities, when more interesting projects, when promotions come up, there has to be somebody who's willing to take the risk and say, hey, I know that, Mary Smith, it's really good. I know she hasn't been maybe here, as long as somebody else, or I know that maybe some of you don't really know her that well, but I would like to make sure that she's considered for this project. I would like to make sure that she's considered for this promotion. I'm willing to support her because I know her. If you have that hiring, mentorship, and sponsorship, you are guaranteed that you're going to be able to have a much more diverse workforce, that it's really going to help the results of the company. So it does become a win-win scenario.
Yes, that was very, very insightful. Thank you so much for your time, Mariana. It was a real pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure. Love the questions. And as usual, please connect on LinkedIn if you want to continue any of the conversations. Thank you so much.
I will certainly do that. Abhishruti, can you just check if it's uploaded? I can see 99%, so I'm guessing a little bit is left.
Thank you so much for being with us. Please do follow us on social media for regular updates and new content.